This might sound strange to you, but I don't actually believe that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau nor the majority of his MPs are true ideological believers in mass immigration. I think mass immigration just simply became the Liberal strategy to artificially pump up the GDP to pretend that the Canadian economy is in far better shape than it really is, even though when you scratch below the surface of the GDP, our per capita productivity has been falling for several years, per capita income is going down, and we are in terrible economic shape. But out there does exist crazy people, we sometimes call them morons, who actually just like high immigration for the sake of high immigration. They believe that Canada exists for the benefit of people who don't even live here or who shouldn't be living here. And when I say shouldn't be, I'm not saying that guy over there, I don't like him, I wish he didn't live here. I mean people who objectively broke the law and should not be in Canada. There was this wild press conference that happened in the Capitol where this group got up who was in favor of trying to give amnesty for all illegal people in Canada right now. People who snuck over the border, smuggled their way into the country, or they overstayed student visas or temporary foreign worker visas, that actually it is the duty of Canada to now reward these people for their criminal activity and bring them in as permanent residents and eventually citizens. Check this out. It is absolutely insane.
I'm speaking to you from the unceded and never surrendered territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabeg peoples, and my pronouns are she, her, elle. So I'm
Immediately, the most embarrassing press conference you've ever seen. Imagine how wild this is. She's starting out basically saying that Canada is stolen land, but she will eventually get to the point where people from abroad who are here illegally should be allowed to stay here on said stolen land that she is referring to. I don't know who this is. I don't care what her name is. She's a crazy person.
here today to show union solidarity with undocumented workers and their families. Women, 2S LGBTQI, plus migrants, all who have been living in fear of being detected and being deported. Undocumented people live here and build our communities and our economy. But without status, they are vulnerable to abuse and exploitation.
Yes, and they shouldn't be here in the first place. Like, why are we just saying because something bad could happen to someone who did something illegal, ergo we should then reward that illegal behavior and then give them a permanent residency and later citizenship? Because obviously, if you are a PR, you will eventually become a citizen. No, the fact that you are here illegally probably should tip us off that you're maybe not the sort of person that we actually want in Canada because you have self-selected yourself as an individual who does not like following the law. But the law is just a pesky little detail in the minds of these crazy activists.
And growing racism and xenophobia are making them even more vulnerable. Employers can violate the rights of undocumented workers, stealing wages, forcing them into unsafe working conditions, stopping workers from asserting their rights under the threat of deportation. This abuse results in an overall worsening of wages.
Do you know why deportation in this like legitimately exploitive relationship exists? The threat exists because the person should be deported because they are here illegally. The fact that they are then being exploited by an employer is just more evidence that they shouldn't be here in the first place, and that employer should be potentially punished because they are taking part in the crime of the illegal worker or migrant because they shouldn't be here, and they are not only blackmailing them, but they are not reporting the fact that this person is illegal to the authorities. But that's just evidence that they're actually a victim who needs to be rewarded.
And working conditions for migrants and citizens alike. Regularization will allow workers to leave bad jobs and punish bad actors. It's leveling the playing field of improving working conditions for everyone. That is why in 2019, we as the CLC and our affiliated unions launched a small pilot to give permanent residency to undocumented workers in the Greater Toronto Area. A broad regularization program means that people can now contribute to the fullest potential to Canada's economic and social future. We, the Canadian Labour Congress, call on the government to do what is right.
Imagine being the Canadian Labour Congress, supposed to be standing up for Canadian workers, and you're out there stumping for people who didn't do the legitimate thing, who did, in fact, the objective illegal thing, and that now you want them rewarded, who are then going to compete with the wages of other workers and suppress them unless you're a public sector union worker or some other protected union worker who's getting artificially higher wages at the same time that those who are not part of unions are getting absolutely destroyed by people who are willing to take under legally allowed amounts because they are not actually supposed to be here. These people are wacky. They have taken too many silly pills and they believe themselves to just simply be crusaders on behalf of the good, simply because they stand up for someone that they have labeled as victimized, when they have in fact been victimizing the country themselves. Because if you are not supposed to be legally in a place and you are still taking jobs there, you are avoiding taxes because you're illegal, you are in fact exploiting Canadian taxpayers because you get to live off of all the great things that we pay for. At the same time, you don't contribute anything to it. If anything, if a employer is taking some of your wages or not paying you everything that you're supposed to be getting paid, that's probably because you're not paying taxes in the first place and you shouldn't be here in the first place. And then employer's only able to exploit you because you've done something illegal that you shouldn't have done. It's madness I would ever even have to explain this, but this is the mind of activists. Thanks you for True North for clipping this one. This guy admits that there's like 500,000 illegal immigrants currently in Canada.
I wonder if I could ask if any of you have an estimate of how many people are undocumented in Canada and how many you anticipate might want to apply if a program is open.
One of the major concerns is that there is no good estimate of how many undocumented people there are. The range estimate is from 20,000 to 500,000. We believe that for this reason, a program should be broad and inclusive to allow people to come out from the shadows and enter the family of rights by applying for permanent residency.
How about no? How about no? How about if you steal from a store and you have a house full of stolen items, that we don't amnesty you so you don't get all your property taken away? It's not yours in the first place. It's not your country to be in the first place. And that other lady at the start of her clip saying that Canada is the unceded and unsurrendered, like the land of whatever. Like, no, Canada is its own country. And we have our own rules and regulations, and we should be enforcing them. The fact that these people are actually stumping in favor of illegal activity should get their own organization shut down. You should get fined for basically trying to assist people in committing illegal acts by being here illegally, working illegal jobs, and then refusing to actually pay taxes on the income you're making. These people are enabling illegal activity. The CLC should be shut down. The Canadian Labour Congress is an absolute disgrace to actual citizens and permanent residents of Canada who are following the law.
Instead of trying to determine caps at this point, it is crucial that that we understand that this is about equality and fairness. And anyone...
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. I'm just going to shut them down there. It's not about equality and fairness. It's actually about rewarding people who have not acted fairly, who have done the wrong thing, the illegal thing. And someone can paint a picture of someone who's in a really tough spot. You also committed a crime. I could be in a tough spot right now because I was stealing or committing some other felony. If I'm committing a felony, I shouldn't be that shocked that I get into a tough situation. And Canada should come down hard on anybody who is actually here illegally, because we should dissuade illegal behavior that, as these people are saying, objectively end up in exploitative situations with the person who committed the crime. And then there are employer who then enables it in order to maybe pay them under minimum wage or get other sort of benefits from this individual. This is clownish behavior. The fact that they were allowed to do a press conference on this, on like taxpayer funded like property, should have the CLC get massively fined, lose its status as a nonprofit union, and these people should be investigated for assisting in the enabling of illegal activity. This is insane. The left in Canada is just out of its mind. Again, there's a difference between liberals who are in favor of mass immigration, which is, to be fair, legal. It's legal to offer more temporary foreign worker spots, more foreign student spots, more permanent residencies. But this is truly going from that, which is insane because we're hurting the country's economy, to bring in 500,000 new people per year as permanent residents that we just can't house. And then there's this, where we're just cheering on people breaking the law. And we're wanting people to feel bad for those who have actually been exploiting the country for a long time, at the same time that we rock up onto the stage of this press conference and talk about how Canada is an illegitimate country. These people need to get a reality check by the government and get punished for what they are advocating for here. This is not a free speech issue. This is basically a criminal conspiracy issue with the CLC enabling illegal workers and immigration. I don't even have anything else to say about this. This is just stupid. Anyways, if you guys want to donate to my legal fund, it is in the description of this video below. It's the Give, Send, Go link. I'm fighting a billionaire in court who's suing us for defamation. It's been over 2.5 years now, and he still has not actually provided any evidence that we have defamed him in any way. He is simply dragging this case out to try and punish us for even mentioning him in an article, even though when we mentioned him, we just hyperlinked to another article from the Globe and Mail that was a long investigation of him. The only new thing we mentioned was the fact that he and other people like him were maxing out donations to Aaron O'Toole's 2020 Conservative Leadership campaign. Anyway, so if you can give to that, really helps me out. And then if you happen to live in the riding of Calgary Signal Hill and are a Conservative Party member, I am running for the federal Conservative Party nomination for this riding. So mark me number 1 on your ballot. Mark Michael Kim number 2. We want to make sure the most conservative people are representing these most conservative ridings. And I believe I definitely fit that bill as one of the only people running actually to reduce immigration, to actually get control of not just getting rid of the carbon tax, but reducing income taxes, as well as trying to pass a federal parental bill of rights. Anyways, that's it for me today. Truly, sorry for the long outros, guys. I'll see you next time.